Mate, no. Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the things that suck about Dark Souls Remastered. A couple of days, I asked you in my community tab, what flaws do you consider Dark Souls Remastered has? And I got very interesting takes in regards to the flaws and, let's be honest, things that suck ultimately about the game. Others are flaws that I would consider are less of an issue, let's say. But some of them really, really suck. So let's jump right in. Carbon Fiber Carpet says, when replaying the game, both Ornstein and Smoke can drag a bit. Plus the long runs back to the bosses, like Gwyn, can become more tedious than challenging. I also think that the equip load percentage for fast roll is a bit too low at 25%. 30% would have been better. Okay, I do agree on a couple of things here. I think that yes, the game in terms of the boss battles after Ornstein and Smoke, although that wasn't so much for me, of course, because I was able to beat Ornstein and Smoke in 2 tries. But I do know that overall, as a consensus, that boss battle is pretty difficult for most people. I don't know if it's about dragging or not, but the other bosses that you fight later, like Seed the Scaleless and Bed of Chaos and whatnot, do feel a little bit underwhelming. Nido, not so much. But Bed of Chaos quite a lot, and Seed of Scaleless, the Scaleless, apologies, has that characteristic too. I would say that the last, obviously not including the DLC. The DLC it's a one up to all the bosses and all the content in the original game, I would say. Maybe except the main story, but after Ornstein and Smoke, it's true. It drags a little bit in the game because you don't feel so much challenge anymore. I would say I would agree with that. I absolutely agree with going, the backtracking. If you get killed by a boss and going all the way back to the boss can be extremely punishing. I was talking about this in my Discord, and my take is that the developers should have had like a retry option. Like when you die, you get 2 options, like retry, and that spawns you inside the arena again to fight the boss, or spawn in the closest bonfire. Those 2 options. Now, the reason why I say this is because the current way that the game is, and the way it's going to always be, because I don't think that's going to ever get changed, is that the developers force you to get more soul level, if you will. Now, that is quote unquote, because at the end of the day, you just can, bypass, run past all the mobs in between the bonfire and the boss and not get any more soul level, of course. That is true. But the intention is there, like the intention to spawn you in the last bonfire that you were, that you rested on, is for you to get a little bit more levels so you can beat the boss, because that's kind of the premise of it, right? Like, you couldn't beat it right now, and you're trying over and over again. I think you should level up a little bit more before you can do that. But the way the game is, it forces you to do so. So the game, by having the retry and the spawn in the last bonfire, gives you the liberty to choose, Do I want to keep fighting this boss over and over again without having to, level up, or should I go back and level up a little bit and then go and fight it again? I think that's my take on it. And about the equip load percentage, maybe that's true. I am not going to talk too much about that because I don't really know how much that 5% is, how impactful that 5% is in that suggested range. But I can say that I'm a little bit ahead of my halfway playthrough on my NG Plus session, and I can't equip the Black Knight chest armor without it being, without it, without it impacting my movement, my roll movement. I have to equip either Havel string or something else, to reduce the weight. And I think I'm 120 plus soul level already. So it's kind of weird, to be so is in on 120 level and still getting, a sluggish movement out of those sets. My endurance is quite high, I think. So, yeah, I would agree with the general thing that Carbon Fiber is talking about. Jacob Furrow, after the Lord Vessel, the quest for the Lord Souls lack a good difficulty curve since all 4 choices have similarly difficult areas that get easier after completing one of them. I'm not really sure about that. I think Lost Isolate was very easy in general. I think the Tomb of the Giants is the most difficult one, especially if you don't have anything to light up the path. Obviously, going through Cinder Careless is. The most annoying part is going through the Crystal Cave. That is a hassle, but I think they have quite distinct difficulties, in my opinion. Sandman 9901. After getting the Lord Vessel, I think some sense of exploration is lost and the game feels different. Well, I think that getting warp or fast travel, to put it in general terms, it is a good thing. I think that having fast travel doesn't. It gives you more liberty to move around the world faster. Obviously, fast travel, but that doesn't prevent you from exploring. Actually, I think it is a necessary reward. It was a necessary reward eventually in the game because some of the backtracking can be extremely boring, I would say. Like, for example, if you some of the embers you give to Andre, so you have to, if you want to upgrade a certain weapon or something, you have to go back to him and upgrade. And imagine you don't have the Lord Vessel. It would be a pain to just go back and forth in between. Now, of course, there's a cool interconnectivity within the levels. Like in Sun's Fortress, you have the elevator. That's pretty cool. And you have this interconnectivity between close to Quilax layer and Isolitz with the elevator too, and so on and so forth. That's pretty cool. But it's still with that interconnectivity. Sometimes you just need to warp. Like I think that you have the freedom to explore however you want. With the Lord Vessel or without the Lord Vessel. So I don't think that's too much of a problem, to be honest. AP Live. it is not a significant improvement over TS1 in terms of graphics and gameplay, and it went for a full retail price on release. Okay, well, I've seen some footage of the first game on YouTube, obviously. However, it's kind of hard to tell so much of a difference because of the compression of the videos and so on and so forth, right? But there is a noticeable difference, in my opinion, even with the compression on. Now, according to my research, I think that the original game in PS3 was in 720p and it was capped to 30 frames per second, and it had often frame drops because the game was maybe just ahead of its time, let's say, for the hardware at least. So I mean, in terms of FPS and the graphics, I think the game looks pretty good. I mean, obviously it's not gonna have the graphics of a remake or whatsoever, but I mean, I was okay with it, to be honest. Colonel Quesadilla. Many hitboxes are very questionable, particularly for large enemies, especially those that are also fast, such as Calamite and Sanctuary Guardian. This definitely improves in the subsequent entries to the series, so perhaps it's a result of the game's age, or that the developers have improved in these areas since then. Okay, I can't really say anything about the later entries, of course, but I think that sometimes at least that's how I felt in some cases, is that I wanted to attack an enemy that was quite large, and I felt like the attack should have reached it should have hit, but it didn't. That happened to me quite a lot with the Hydra. With the Hydra battle in Ash Lake. Okay, it happened to me quite a few times, and it felt really frustrating. All right. However, I'm gonna have to revisit that footage and see if, if that's the case, or it was just like the reach of my weapon or not, or something. Because if I could remember correctly, I was using an S-stock, and an S-stock is a fairly large sword, So yeah, maybe that's kind of the frustration that I found there. But other than that, I'm gonna say something not related so much to the hitboxes of the enemies, but more to the hit boxes or collision of the environment on the game. Okay, there were a couple of times that this happened to me in the Great Hollow and in Lost Isolate, in which I couldn't walk over a tree root, and the root wasn't necessarily like super huge. It was, I mean, by common sense and logic, that your character is able to go over that route because it's not like a huge obstacle. But it for some reason the hitboxes of the polygons of the environment or the collision of it in the engine doesn't let you to go over that. It takes it like it's a huge obstacle. So that's obviously one of the flaws, in my opinion, that the game has, is that not only, I don't know so much about the hitboxes about large enemies, but certainly in the environment, you can tell that there are some issues in that regard. Jumbo Rabbit. The entire Lost Isolate section is pretty bad, to be honest. The Bed of Chaos is the worst boss for sure, and the area seems unfinished. Yeah, I haven't done my research in regards to this area, so I've read some comments in regards to this that people have told me that the developers were not able to finish this area, so it was rushed, basically. I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to do my research in regards to that. However, Bed of Chaos, yes, was very underwhelming. Was a very underwhelming fight. I think that the design of the top of the boss, like this flaming creature on top of it, is really cool. But the mechanics are not really there, especially if you compare it to previous bosses like Ornstein and Smoke. You know, the gargoyles. What else? I'm not gonna, well, Pinwheel, I'm not gonna say Pinwheel, obviously. But yeah, you know what I mean. Ladders, Midir. My biggest issue with Dark Souls 1, and mind you, this is my most played game ever, is definitely backstabs. Backstabs are just way too easily taken advantage of, meaning that PvP often centers around who can land backstabs first, and PvE often centers around chain backstabbing enemies that are vulnerable to it. Certainly, you don't have to abuse backstabs, but it's often the easiest and most effective options. I have to agree 100% with this, and I think this is actually underselling the point. Backstabs are absolutely broken in this game. Absolutely broken. There were you know, scenarios in which I was able to backstab enemies and people in PvP in a 45-degree angle, you know, from their back. That's insane. That shouldn't happen. And of course, this ruins the backstabbing meta. Is what makes the PvP so boring and stale. You know, I've read comments about people saying like, well, if you just have to master the thing about the backstabbing and then you will enjoy it, the experience. And well, yeah, of course, if you master it and you master the only thing that is about the PvP, and you're able to have win streaks and whatnot, obviously you're going to enjoy it because you're winning all the time or most of the time. But I couldn't invest myself into learning just one thing. Like, that's the only thing, that's the meta thing to do, and that's it. That's so insipid, and it ruined the PvP in my opinion. Lewis, the PvP is pretty lame. It's mostly just strength builds fishing for backstabs. Well, yeah, I will agree with that, all right? You know what's a shame, too? It's that I couldn't test the PvP arenas. You know, the one that is in the Coliseum, where you fight Artorias. It's barren. Like, no one plays PvP there. It's all about the invasions and whatnot. Which is a shame, because I would have liked to try that. Maybe I can you know, muster a couple of people to see if I can, you know, play that mode with other people, you know, to kind of feel the gaps in there and see if I can. What is it the name of it? Like something of a stoicism or something. And I mean, that looks like fun, but at the same time, it will be for just to see a new area in the game, because the PvP is still going to be the same, you know, just fishing for the backstab and whatnot. Obi-Wan Shinobi literally never goes on sale. Edit, never mind, the Steam Autumn sale has blessed me with 50% off. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I was able to buy it, you know, pretty easily. It was like, I always see it on sale. I don't know why. Well, maybe because you are literally just watching or looking for the sale in Steam. But there are other you know, other stores outside of Steam that it's going to give you you know, a discount on the game, and it's going to give you the Steam key. Apologies. I actually do have an affiliate link for Dark Souls Remastered, which I'm going to be leaving in the description of this video. However, I don't think it's on sale right now, but I will let you know when it's on sale on that store, and I will post it in my community tab in case you want to get the game for PC, alright? The 1. Tomb of the Giants is way too dark, and Bed of Chaos boss fight is quite irritating. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about the Tomb of the Giants is that it's pitch black. You know, maybe you have the traumatic experience of going through the Tomb of the Giants without the school lantern, and I could understand why your frustration is in that regard. But yeah, the skull lantern is meant for you to use it in that part, and you find the skull lantern going down the catacombs, you know, twice. I found that there twice. So it's not like you have to go to I don't know, back to New London ruins to find it or whatsoever. It's on the way there. So I don't see what's really the issue in that regard. And Bed of Chaos, I don't know if you're talking about it being irritating in the design of the boss, or if you found the fight itself, the mechanics of the fight very irritating or not. I don't think that's the case for me. Like, it wasn't irritating. It wasn't even like frustrating, because the whole thing about it is just falling to your death, and that's it. That's the only shtick that there is in the fight. So no, I don't think that's irritating at all. Seer Paradigm backstabs. Also, it is in Dark Souls 3. Okay, mate. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm sure that Dark Souls 3 is going to be awesome. That I get it, but I don't know. I just find it like a futile thing about this whole thing, discussing about Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, which one's better, what not. I'm just trying to see this game isolated from the other ones, and that's it. Mad Queen 22. Flaws? What do you mean? It's flawless. Okay. Yeah, no. It's not flawless, alright? Oh, stop it. I will say that there's one more thing that I would like to add, and is that how enemies, mobs, and bosses can clip you. They have a clipping issue, you know. They can attack you through walls, and this happened to me on a couple of occasions. One of them was getting hit by the giant on top of Sense Fortress when I was in the stairs. I think he even killed me, or well, maybe not. I can't remember well. Okay, but he hit me through the wall. And the other instance that I can remember this happened to was one of the Silver Knights that is in one of the rooms in Anor Londo, you know, in the ending section, and the last part of Anor Londo, I should say, hit me through the wall and through the door that was closed. So this clipping issue is very irritating. It shouldn't be in the game, or it's something that should have been polished, certainly from the original game, I would say, because I'm pretty sure that the original game has that issue too. And I think I read a comment once that said that that is a common occurrence in later entrances or entries in the game, in the subsequent games, you know, in Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, because they wanted to leave it as a Dark Souls kind of thing, which I think it's jarring a thing to do from the developers. I think they shouldn't have done that, because you want your game to be the most polished as possible. So using this excuse of leaving this clipping issue, you know, where mobs and bosses can hit you through walls and whatnot, no, that should have been fixed. That is extremely irritating, because how come when you're in close quarters, maybe in a corridor or something, you're going to do a slashing attack or something, and your weapon is going to hit the wall, but the mob or the boss doesn't get affected by that? That shouldn't happen. you know. So I think that's probably one of the biggest flaws in terms of the game, on how it the behavior of it, that should have been fixed for sure. However, if we want to talk about flawless, I want you to check out my newest merch, which is inspired actually by Dark Souls and Berserk, and this is one of the colors of the t-shirt that I have available. And also I have a hoodie right here, which is this is one of the colors that I have. And listen, the fabric on this, and the hoodie and the shirt is incredible. It's really good quality, all right? So check that out. And if you actually, by making a purchase, you have a chance to be featured in my channel. The only thing you have to do is take a picture with what you bought on and send the picture to the contact email that is in the description of this video, and I'll put you in the intro of one of my videos, all right? Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.